Good afternoon, everyone. On this March 14th of 2026, I'm James Freher, host of World Events, and I will have a guest on here today. His name is Ray Estrada from Galesburg, Illinois, and our topic today will be about Cuba. It's going to be very informative. We'll work from where Cuba used to be and then where it went to, and the current events which is unfolding. Basically, as my intro said, the world don't wait for you, and it's unfolding in front of our very eyes, and it's amazing what is going on. So right here, this is just a picture of Cuba. Uh, I like the old cars they have, but that and maybe Ray could tell you why they have a lot of old cars. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and bring Ray on stage. Hello, Ray.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing
Thank you for
fine.
having me again.
Great. I love it every time.
Awesome.
So we're going to talk about Cuba, and I want you to explain to the listeners and people who are listening to it afterwards what makes you knowledgeable in the field of Cuba and that area down there.
Sure. Excellent question, Jim. I'll share with you that for the last, I would say officially, let's say the last 20 years, I have always been engaged and involved in what is going on in Latin America. Number one, because as you can hear my accent, originally I'm from Nicaragua. So my family, came to the States in 1979, and some of my family were presidents there in Nicaragua and generals. So pretty much I always grew up being very hypersensitive about geopolitics in this hemisphere. I graduated from Augustana with a degree in political science, concentration in international relations. Since, let's say, 2018, I have been extremely hyper sensitive about what's going on in Latin America due to the violence that erupted in Nicaragua in 2018. Since then, I have been able to engage with a very large group of investigative reporters that are basically some actually are in Spain, some in Panama, Venezuela, Colombia, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and some also in Guatemala. So I have a constant feed of information coming from this region, letting me know what's going on. And some of that information I have shared with you, as you know. I've also testified in front of that congressional committee, Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission for the U.S. Congress here in the United States. I believe that was back in 2020. So that's part of the reason why I am, I guess, well informed about what's going on there in Cuba, let's say Latin America.
Very good explanation. That's what people need to understand. It's just he's just not like me, an average person. He's well informed. And so, what we're going to do is talk about Cuba. We're going to take a step back in time because the only thing I really remember was the Cuban Missile Crisis. So, before let's work up to the Cuban Missile Crisis. What Cuba was like before the regime changed and stuff like that.
Interestingly enough, in 1959 is when Castro took over Cuba. He beat Fulgencio Batista. I believe it was in December of 59. Cuba had a pretty good economy. They had a pretty good country. I mean, their economy was great. They were some of the most advanced in Latin America, actually, even compared to the standards of Europe. They had a great railroad system. Their infrastructure was fantastic. Uh, GDP was great, per capita and relatively speaking, for with other Latin American countries. And unfortunately, you know, at that point, we had what was going on, the Cold War. We had the Soviet Union. So Castro, and this may sound familiar to you and some of your friends, your listeners, he began with this poison about having, equity and having everybody be the same. But basically, he succeeded. Everybody became really poor and miserable in Cuba. I mean, this whole concept of social justice and socialism. Initially, though, he said that he was going to have a democracy. Unfortunately, we all know, and history tells us, and the facts tells us, they tell us that that didn't happen. Cuba became a very, very oppressive communist state.
Okay, now during that time or the takeover, was there killings, or is it just the people just sort of bowed to it? How did that come about?
No, at that point there was an all-out war, an all-out
Okay,
revolution. Yes.
okay. And then Castro appointed himself, or did he get elected?
No, Fidel Castro he was the leader of the revolutionaries, and basically he just became the president. He inherited the power.
Okay, so that's basically why he wore a uniform all the time.
Yes.
Okay, okay, that does make sense. The connections are starting to hit. Uh, Now, during the time of you said socialism. Uh, from what I can tell, socialism does not work in reality. It, like you said, it makes people, the lower class citizens, maybe not even middle class. Is that
Correct.
yeah? And
Socialism, Jim, does not work. It has never worked. And I frankly almost have a problem with the word socialism because I think it's nothing else, besides communism in disguise. It's like the front room of communism. It never ends well.
it's like a stepping stone to communism.
Yes, that's all it
Yes.
is.
Yep. And if I remember, even Russia, didn't they start a socialist too?
Well, Russia, if we're going to go back to, what is it, 1917, we had the revolution of the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks. Same thing. They wanted justice, social justice, except they were more upfront, about what was going on, about what they wanted. They wanted to do away, with the Tsar, and they implemented a Marxist, state.
So, in other words, our liberals and the people that want socialism in the United States need to wake up and see what socialism it really is. And I don't think they're going to want the end results of it. And that's it's hard for people to realize that. Yeah, they want things given to them, but once that start happening, the government starts taking control more and more. And I remember President Trump saying his first term that as long as he was president, there will be this will never be a socialistic government.
Is if we shift to national, to what's going on right here at home, I can, make I guess, a simple comment. I think that a lot of what's going on right now, Jim, it's not because some people are confused. I think that there are quite a few people that totally have no idea what they are asking for, but I do believe, in fact, I'm pretty certain that we have too many people who are hardcore communists already here in the United States in positions of power. And they are not fooled by this. They know exactly what it is, and they know exactly what it is that they want to do. Uh, I believe there is a group of people here who would definitely want to destroy the way that we have right now our constitutional republic.
Well,
So
they
yes, you're
base
right. Some people are confused. They think everything is free and sounds like fun, but they are being led by a hardcore group that has a lot of power and a lot of influence, and they know exactly what it is that they want. I guess since we're talking about this, I'll make a quick comment also. For example, look what's going on right now, how the Senate has failed to pass, the SAVE Act, where they require, proof of citizenship and an ID to vote. So if you think about it, the fact that it's even a question right now should scare you. This
yes,
is not
exactly.
complicated. It's inexcusable and it's unforgivable. And if we don't pass that, uh, I don't know when we're going to have another opportunity to do it. Right now, we have the Senate, we have the House, we have the executive office. Uh, I hope that if this guy, and I guess Thune is not going to have the filibuster, where they're going to be standing and they're going to have to defend it, which that's basically doing nothing, because it only takes one Democrat senator to say that he disagrees with it, he doesn't want it, then the vote has to be at 60. And he knows that we do not have the 60 votes. So I think that, Leah, let's pay attention to what's going on geopolitically in our hemisphere. It's very important for us. And we can talk about why that matters if we're talking about China, for example, and the influence that China has right here in the Americas. But also, we must stay vigilant to what's going on within our republic right now.
Exactly. People don't realize that there are things in the works, and we're going to build up to this little by little, because we just don't want to let you know right away, and that's it. So we're working up to what is happening. Uh, there is some talk about it. It's been on Facebook, and where things could change for the good in Cuba. Now, what did Cuba? What was their mainly exports when they were the country that should have been?
Cuba, you're talking before 59 or post 59?
Well, they probably lost more exports since '59. So
Yes.
what, then we're gonna
Tourism, yes. In Cuba, prior to, before 59, they had a great banking system. They had a great entertainment. The tourism in Cuba was one of the most favorite destinations in the world. You may make reference, for example, I don't know if you have seen the movie The Godfather, where they go to Cuba. That's actually true. I mean, there were a great deal of investments. They have always had coffee. They had sugar, sugar export, but they also have, some rare earth. I mean, they have nickel, which is something that a lot of people don't talk about. Now, they also have oil. Cuba, even now, I mean, it's in shambles, but they do produce some oil within the country. The problem is the inefficiency, mismanagement, and basically neglect, on all of those resources. Post 59, the main export has been sugar, as you may know. Sugar, and also there is some tourism.
okay. See, I didn't
And
know
tobacco.
that.
We cannot forget about tobacco,
Tobacco,
the
Cuban
famous
cigars.
cigars. Yes.
Yep. Uh, Now, so in a way, it's like Venezuela. They had the oil, but they didn't produce it right, or they had because same thing, socialism. So there now people can tie Cuba to Venezuela and see what's happened in Venezuela. They rather do drugs and deal that than work their oil infrastructure the way it should be. Uh, Now, let's see.
Now,
Uh,
Cuba and Venezuela is a much wealthier country than Cuba.
well,
Uh,
but
yeah, Cuba, yeah,
Venezuela,
yeah.
Venezuela
Venezuela
used to
has
be
incredible riches in gold, in other minerals, and also, like you mentioned, oil. They have either the largest or one of the largest oil deposits in the planet.
right, and the other thing they mismanaged it and didn't keep up with their infrastructure on it. And now, what type of embargoes or sanctions and some of the reasons why that has been put on Cuba?
You hear a lot about this, and I know a lot of Cubans. I have friends who are Cubans, and that's why I have a lot of my, you asked me how do I know this, about a lot of my information about what's going on. Some that have actually relatives inside the military in Cuba. For example, I got a phone call when basically the airport ran out of gas. They couldn't refuel the airplanes, and I shared that with one of my friends, and like 3 days later, it came out on the news. Oh, airplanes are stranded at the airport in Havana because they don't have fuel. So that was interesting.
Now, why would
Now,
that be?
well, because Venezuela used to bring in oil. Like initially it was something outrageous, like 50% or something like that. Then it became to like 34%, 35%. Then Mexico was picking up the difference. They increase their oil delivery, export to Cuba. But then Trump ended that. So now they're getting zero from Mexico, they're getting zero from Venezuela. Russia provided about 10% of the oil. And to my understanding, that the last tanker that was coming from Russia was sent back. They didn't get it. So Cuba basically is stuck with what they're making, which is very poor quality. Why? Because they do not have the technology to refine. Remember, you pull the oil out of the ground, but then you have to run it through the refineries. And that infrastructure is lacking in Cuba. So they probably are doing like 15,000 barrels a day that they can produce themselves. To give an idea, they need about 100,000 a day.
Wow. And so
Yeah.
that would make the idea of the reason the bar goes because of this picture here is that they still have a lot of old cars. And I guess that would affect their transportation and the newer cars. Am I correct on that?
Well, no, the reason, and actually, that's one of the nicest pictures that you see of Cuba, that those houses are painted. If you look at other media or pictures, if you have anybody there in Cuba that will send you, more up to date pictures, uh, it's in shambles. I mean, some people are burning garbage on the streets because there's no, like in Illinois, we have, the garbage system, waste management that will come and pick up your garbage. That doesn't really exist anymore in Cuba. So you see a lot of garbage right there on the streets of Cuba. There's no electricity, shortage of food, which that has always been the case. And this is even during the time that the former Soviet Union was financing Cuba, because Cuba, remember, was the hub of the Soviet Union to export, their leftist movements in Latin America. It was through Cuba that you had all of these movements going into South America and Central America.
Okay, that's
But
pretty good common sense. Now the reason is people don't realize is that Trump's done what he's done with Venezuela, and it's not because of oil. Well, it's in a way it is because Russia and China are heavily involved with that. And if they strangle us out of it, it's a survival mode for the United States, and that's in a way what's going on with Iran.
yeah, what happened with Venezuela, when you look at it, you analyze it, and then you go back to it, and then you find 10 other reasons why it had to be done. There are so many angles of this situation. Yes, the oil absolutely is what most people would look at because it's on the surface. But Trump, what he did by doing that, he affected the influence of China, the influence of Iran, and its proxies like Hezbollah, as we have discussed before, right here in a region. Also, that serves as a money laundering uh, catalyst for the drug cartels. It wasn't just about the drugs that were coming into the United States that you see these boats being blown up out of the water. The cartels were also washing money, laundering money uh, through Venezuela. Now, that Venezuela is gone, meaning it's out of the hands of these communists, right? Now, oil production is going to go back up. The economy is going to get better. Hezbollah and the other proxies of Iran are getting kicked out of the country. China's influence in this hemisphere is also being affected to our advantage because they no longer have a grip there in Venezuela. So it's all tied together. And that's part of the reason why Cuba right now is having such a hard time, because they're no longer getting that oil and money from Venezuela.
Ah, exactly. Straight on. I like that explanation. Now, we know
Can
about
hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Yeah. Hang on. Let me see what's going on. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't hear nothing yet? Hmm. Uh, keep talking.
Jim, can you hear me?
Keep talking. You talk. Now with you talk.
Jim,
Now,
there we go. Now I can hear you.
okay. Yeah. Now we all know about Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Now, how has that been able to keep going with uh, the, I guess, restrictions and how we look at Cuba? How does that arrange to where there's no issues with it?
Oh, there have been a lot of issues with it. It's just that the United States, and thank God, you know, so far, even through the times of Obama and Carter, Jimmy Carter, thank God that these people didn't give it up. But Cuba has always protested against having Guantanamo, being occupied by the United States, having that military base. And thank God that, we held on to it. Thank God we didn't do like a Panama Canal, because Jimmy Carter did that. He gave away the Panama Canal, which is unforgivable what he did.
Yes. Yep. So, in other words, they're still complaining about us having a base there in Guantanamo Bay, but it's advantageous to have it. I don't know how many troops they have in Guantanamo Bay, but you have to think Cuba's like 90 miles off the coast of Florida. So, having military in at least Guantanamo Bay, how many people do we have stationed roughly in Guantanamo Bay?
I have no idea what specific number, but I understand that it's a fully functional military base. It's not just like a facility, where they have just a presence. They have military personnel on site.
So that's sort of good because, like I was saying, when you had to go back off and back on, it's a good idea because it's only what 90 miles off the coast of Florida. So,
Yes,
I mean, it makes sense and keep that and not let it go. Uh, now, the Cuban immigrants, we know a lot came from Cuba by boats, risking their lives. And how many have came to the United States? Now, with what we're going to start talking about a little bit more deeper, is would they you think most of them would stay in the United States or would they go back to Cuba if things change?
I think the most recent ones, they will probably, go back. Some, not all, obviously. I think the ones that have been here for decades, I think their offsprings, for example, Marco Rubio, his parents came from Cuba. I'm sure that that generation, they are going to go back and have a presence, maybe buy a second home in Cuba. Some of them probably retire in Cuba. But I think that, generally, I think most of them will stay here in the United States. But I do believe that the influx of Cubans into the United States will drop profoundly, if not be totally, inexistent.
Wow, I figured they would increase. So
Did you
that's
hear that,
yeah,
Jim?
yep. So I don't know if he's having some uh listening problems or what, but he comes back on, he's good to go. And yeah, I heard that, Ray.
Okay,
And
wonderful.
it's sad that you keep losing the hearing, but
Yeah.
I was sort of shocked because I figured more would try to come over to the United States. But if they say maybe their country will improve, that they want to stay there and help that country build. Now, what I'm going to do, since I have this hat on, uh, compliments of Natasha Owens, uh, I'm going to bring up a commercial with her, and then we're going to get into what could be coming good for Cuba. So I think that
Okay.
was going to like this.
From powerhouse vocalist Natasha Owens, known for standout singles like Trump One and Somali Waltz, comes her brand new release, The Boss, released on Real America's Music, the label built to amplify unapologetically American voices. The Boss gives a voice to everyday Americans and reminds listeners who truly shapes the future. Not the elites, not the gatekeepers, but the people. Now it's your turn. The Real America's Voice audience has the power to move charts and shake the industry. Push it up the charts. Make them notice.
Download The Boss tonight at midnight.
Now, the reason I played that, I'm not getting paid to play her ads, okay, is because I've had her on my show 6 times. And so it takes time out of her day. And so I'm putting that out there for free to help get her out there on for what she's done for me. So just let people know I don't get paid for it. It's just my payback to Natasha Owens. And I hope you like that little one there.
I think it's a beautiful song.
Yep. Now what we're gonna go ahead.
We talk about how the left and how evil is trying to take over. You know what I mean? So many good places, and more alarming for us, the United States. But they're also good people, and they're also, great people. And it's inspiring, and it's good to see how Natasha came up with this song. I was on the show. I mean, the last time I was with you, she was on the show, and she was commenting that this happened like basically overnight, that she came up with the song. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah. And the one that's called The Boss, that's about Rick Springfield when
I
he
know.
goes, yeah, okay, so you remember the
That
story.
guy is such a that guy is, what a loser.
Yep. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna bring this up, and then I'm gonna bring a video clip, because the other ones you sent me just about 3 hours ago, I couldn't get them copied and saved. So I have this thing here coming up, and then after that, I'll bring up a video about Cuba. Breaking. The dictator of Cuba, Miguel Diaz-Canel, announces that they have given in to the pressure and are officially in negotiations with the white United States. The Cuban regime is about to fall. Now, my hurrying on this and what I've seen is that Marco Rubio, like you mentioned earlier, has been working behind the scenes. And I heard this gentleman here had a phone conversation with President Trump. It's not about taking their country over. It's about helping them better their country. And now I'm going to go to this video right here.
At 11, we begin with major breaking news. All eyes on Cuba as Cuban leader Miguel Diaz-Canel is set to make an announcement tomorrow morning. And in another rare move, the regime is also announcing tonight that it will release 51 prisoners in the next few days. Cuban officials did not specify if those being freed are political prisoners. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Tonight's announcements come as the future of the island remains uncertain. CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister is your reporter live in Little Havana. She joins us from Versailles Restaurant with reaction tonight. Anna?
Lauren, I spoke to Dr. Andy Gomez, and he told us that first and foremost, we need to figure out who these 51 prisoners are. And he told me that he does believe this is a positive step in the right direction, but he did say that he is cautiously optimistic.
Al siguiente comunicado del Ministerio de Relaciones Exteriores.
A bombshell dropping Thursday night from Cuban state media after announcing their government will release 51 prisoners in the coming days, adding Cuba's leader, Miguel Diaz-Canel, will address the nation Friday morning.
I think they just made a first step a first step, if you will, of good faith, showing that the United States that they're willing to do something.
Andy Gomez has studied the Cuban conflict for years and says there's a few huge questions surrounding the release of these prisoners.
Who are the 51? Are they willing to release more political prisoners? And how is Washington going to react?
In Cuba's social media post about the prisoners' release, it says the nation has pardoned more than 9,900 people and sanctioned at least 10,000 others since 2010. This announcement about the release of the prisoners coming as the nation is in a humanitarian and economic crisis.
Cuba finds themselves in a very difficult position, and they understand nobody's coming to save them.
Last month, Cuban leader Miguel Diaz-Canel said he was willing to speak to President Trump about the future of Cuba. Cuba is willing to engage in dialogue with the United States on any topic, but without pressure or preconditions and always respecting Cuba's sovereignty and independence. But it's still unclear exactly what Diaz-Canel will say during his televised speech, something that rarely happens.
Extremely unusual. The last time that I can recall at 7:30 in the morning that an announcement like this was made was when Raul Castro announced that Fidel was dead.
South Florida Representatives Carlos Jimenez and Maria Elvira Salazar reacting to the release of the prisoners on X. Congressman Jimenez posting, there are literally thousands of political prisoners unjustly detained in Cuba for simply posting on Facebook or shouting the word freedom. We demand the immediate release of all political prisoners and the end of this despicable regime. Congresswoman Salazar posting, the murderous Cuban dictatorship needs to pack up and leave Cuba now, or end up in a 2x3 cell like their buddy Nicolas Maduro. And the identities of those 51 prisoners remains unclear at this time. And that announcement from Diaz-Canel is expected to happen tomorrow morning at 7:30. But for now, reporting live from Little Havana, Anna McAllister, CBS News, Miami.
And that was a couple of days ago that came out. And I don't know if you've seen that or yet. Oh, he must have lost him again. He must not hear me. He'll be back in.
Okay.
Welcome back again, Ray. So
Thank
I don't know
you.
I don't know if you saw that video before.
Oh, I saw that video. I saw
Okay.
that video, and I should have taken notes. I'll make a couple of comments.
Go ahead. That's
Number
what I want
one-
you to do. It's your floor.
Yeah, number one, interesting. You asked me, about how do I get, how am I informed about this? Diaz-Canel, he's the official leader, so-called, of Cuba, but the guy that is really running the show is Raul Castro, Castro's brother. He's still the one that runs the show. Basically, Diaz-Canel, he is, let's say, like the administrator, right? The day-to-day stuff. But the final and most important decisions are made by Raul Castro. Now, the negotiations, when this guy said, we are willing to talk, that's basically telling you they already talked about this and pretty much got all the negotiations already done. Obviously, I can't reveal everything here on your show, but I can tell you that Raul Castro's grandson, who they call him El Cangrejo, which is basically Raulito, the grandson of Raul Castro. He's the son of his oldest daughter, Deborah. He is the one that has been meeting with Marco Rubio, okay, and other people in the State Department. Now, part of the negotiations got stuck where Raul Castro, he's like 90 years old now, 91 years old, and he wants to stay in Cuba. And the United States did not want him to stay in Cuba. But I think the way it ended up is that Raul is going to stay there, and most of the other people are going to have to leave Cuba. For example, Diaz-Canel is not going to be able to stay there. Now, part of the reason that they are slowing things down, if everything gets ignited too quick, and I have been Jim, in a revolution before. I was there when all these things were going down, for example, in Nicaragua, when I was just a kid. Emotions will take will take over. People and violence will erupt very quickly. Just last night, for example, a lot of people burnt one of the offices of the Communist Party there in Cuba. The name of the place, it's in Ciego. It was Ciego de Avila province. I don't remember the exact name of the city in this area. That communist office was burnt down. That you don't see that happening in Cuba, and it's happening right now. Also, they released 51 prisoners. They have about 1,200 right now. They do not have thousands. They have about 1,200 political prisoners. And yes, they are going to be released. But this transition has to be done very carefully so that it doesn't erupt into chaos.
Now, the ones that you say, and I saw that video, and that's why
Did you get that?
Yeah, I got it. But
okay, I don't know. Every time you go away, when you come back.
But like he was saying, it has to be done very carefully, and
here we go.
It has to be done very carefully with the transition.
Yes.
And now, the people that burnt that building down, are they protesting against Castro, or are they protesting about the change, or have you heard anything about that?
They are protesting against the regime, the
Okay.
communist regime. Something else, and you hear a lot of people go ahead and say, oh, get hands off Cuba, support, Cuba. It's not the Cuban people. The Cuban people, they don't want this communism. They don't want this socialism. They want to be free like everybody else. Like us. This is why we have it now. We have to protect it, and we have to keep it so it doesn't get taken away from us.
Well, it's just like Venezuela people and the people from Iran. They want free from the terrorist regimes.
Exactly.
And now,
you hear a lot of things about sovereignty. The sovereignty of the country. No, who is sovereign? Is the people of the country. The sovereignty belongs to the people, the people of the country, the citizens, not the state. And people confuse that. The state is supposed to be there to serve the people. Right now in Cuba, why do you think that they don't even allow people to fish in Cuba because they're afraid they're going to leave? This is how bad. Look at it like this. Perfect example. When the Berlin Wall went down, were people running to the east or were people running to the west?
They ran to the west.
Exactly.
Yep. Now, see, that's what we have a problem here in the United States is, they are people there. They know what's going on underneath the socialist communist regime underneath Castro. And here we have people taking it for granted that it's like, I don't know what it is with the generation that they just don't want to understand that we are a good nation. We're set on values. Yeah, we have our problems. We have our issues. But we cannot go to a country like that with the government. Same as, China, they're bad too. North Vietnam, it's terrible. And people have to realize, the ones out there protesting, is that this is the people, like you said, your family left from that disaster, and you lived through it, and you're a very good patriot. And this is what we have to instill in our people. We have to become good patriots.
The problem is, or one of the problems, it's the education. See, people, they talk about Jimmy Carter, that he was not very smart. I think the guy was very masterful and conniving. Who got the whole situation messed up with the education? The Department of Education. Who is the one that actually created it? Was during Jimmy Carter.
Right.
And that's textbook communism, because they know, get to the minds of the young people. And now think about this. That was, 40 years ago almost. That was 50 years ago, good Lord. In 79, They knew what they were doing. And then something else that they did that I think was tragic, and I know I brought it up a couple times. They gave away the Panama Canal. If you think about that, that is inexcusable. That would a potential for the threat of the U.S. national security, and he did that. He didn't care. But anyway, you're asking the youth, they don't know it. Well, you add on top of the education that is being taught by Marxists to a great extent, definitely mostly by leftists at the bare minimum. Then you have the media. The media, which tries to sell an image to everyone that if you are a patriot or a Christian or just anybody who believes in merit, then somehow you are now a bad person who you must be a racist or a xenophobe, and they go down the list of insults.
Right, and that's what they do, and then, of course, then you look at the Marxism part of it behind it too. So you have socialism working at it, you have communism working at it, you have Marxism all working against the patriots of this United States, and it's coming. There's Look at the Omar in Congress. I mean, there's a prime example, and her father being a Marxist. So please, American people, wake up. Look at like Ray here. His family came from that area during the turmoils. Look at the people that came from South Vietnam because the issues over there. And why do you think people come to the United States? But yet, our own people that live here don't respect it. Now,
I think there
do
are quite
you?
a few that love it and are loyal patriots, but I think there are too many who do not, and there are not enough, I think, good-hearted people that are doing enough.
Well, yeah,
I
because
think you
they
have to
get stepped
engage
on.
in every way that you can. You have to engage and try to, contribute that little grain of sand, but go ahead and put it down. Contribute something to it. Even like your show right now, what you are doing, Jim, this is something else that you're putting out there. Talking facts. You ask me, okay, why am I saying this? What gave me that, not authority, but what gave me that the knowledge, I guess, or the expertise to talk about
Right, the
this.
expertise and knowledge, correct.
Simple, experience, education, networking, information, intel sharing. But that's done by people who care and who see the value of freedom. Right now, we have that in the US, but if we don't protect it, we will lose it. There
We're
is
going to go
no
down.
question about that.
We're going to go
And
down the
then,
rabbit hole.
yes, and we cannot let that happen.
Nope. Now, what do you think about what happened to the people that probably set that building on fire? Do you think they were stepped down upon, or did they just sort of let it watch? And the regime, did they clamp down on them and
Yes,
arrest them?
yes, they arrested about 5 or 7 people, which I think was done just to make a statement. In another time, they would have been shot, or they would have, arrested 30 of them, not 7. To give you an
Wow.
idea, and this is why it's important to do this transition carefully so that it doesn't go into chaos. Because too many people now in Cuba, they're getting very impatient because they can smell freedom. They know it's coming, and they want it right now. They don't want it next week.
Well,
Uh,
how do the people in Cuba? Uh, I don't know how their access to media is, uh, whether Cuba limits it like Iran's been
yes,
doing over there.
they do censor, but there is a way that you still can get internet, and they have access. Not to mention, they are always in contact with their families in other countries. For example, in here in the U.S. in areas like Miami, so they are always sharing videos. Going back and forth. Anytime that they can, they do.
then how do you try to explain to the people that's going through this right now, doing the protest, knowing they're going to get cracked down upon, and let this unfold in the best peaceful manner that it can be?
You can't. You can't.
Wow.
They're going to right now. They call el parolazo, which basically they go outside with a pot and a spoon and they bang it.
I heard
A
that. Yep.
sign, in sign of protest. They do stuff like that. They burn stuff on the streets, but they you can't. This is what makes me sad. The United States, too many Americans don't know the value of freedom. They think it's just some abstract ideology there, on TV. It's serious, and a lot of people have died, to keep it, to gain it. And right now, Cuba, every time that they try to do any kind of uprising, a lot of them get shot.
Mm,
But right now they know that we have, President Trump in the office, and
right.
I'm telling you
And
that that name sends tremors in
well,
Latin America for all the dictators. I can tell you right now that the government in Nicaragua, they are horrified because they know they are next. They
yep.
saw what
No,
happened in Venezuela. They see what's happening in Cuba. And if I have access to that information, that, Raul's grandson, right? Because he's the one that is trusted by Raul Castro to
right.
do these negotiations. If and we're talking about it here on your show, imagine the intel that the government in Nicaragua has. They know what's happening, and they are afraid because they know they are next. They sold out Nicaragua to the Chinese, and that was a big mistake.
Well,
More than having two dictators right now in Nicaragua, the biggest threat is to U.S. national security. These people are building airports in Nicaragua. They now control like 20% of its territory, mining precious metals. It's insane how they gave it all up just so they can, keep power. So to tell the people in Cuba, oh no, just sit down, you're gonna be fine, just wait. It's almost impossible. I believe, and this is interesting. We will have another show after Cuba has been freed, and it's
okay.
coming. And at
Yep.
some point, it will be nice, Jim, if we'll go to Havana. I know people in Cuba. We can go over there to Cuba, and we can have a show from there,
I would
right? And
love
you
that.
and you can share that,
I have my passport.
with your audience. Awesome. So we'll go, and then you're gonna hear from people, and then you're gonna see people cry uh, of joy that they are free, but you're also gonna see people cry of concern how so many Americans don't realize that the threat to the republic here is real, and unless we start to push back, we will lose this republic. That's just a fact. We have
Well,
to fight back in every way that we can.
well, you know what gets me? You hear the left that about even Trump going into Iran, that he's destroying America. And he's not destroying to make America. He's trying to make America safer because China and Iran are not good actors. I mean, Russia, here and there, but I think our biggest adversaries, one is China, one is Russia, because they're always mingling in countries trying to push us out, which that's why they say, well, he's going after oil. Well, what do you think China and Russia and Iran's been doing? They've been going after the oil too. So, I mean, don't you want to take care of ourselves? And this is what I get ticked off with the left people,
Yeah,
because that's what they say.
we don't need the oil from Iran, as you know. But I'll
Right.
tell you something interesting. And I have conversations and sometimes discussions, or I should say arguments with people. It's like, why did we do that to the people of Iran? It's like, number one, we're not doing anything to the people of Iran. It's
Nope.
going against the government. Now, these are facts. Iran, the government, they have been sponsoring terrorism all over the world. They are responsible directly and indirectly for deaths of thousands of American citizens. Look what happened in Iraq. It's not because I say so. That's just a fact. People can go
It
ahead
is.
and verify this. Look at those IDs, those roadside bombs that they were done. They were sponsored, the technology. They were the ones responsible for placing all of these things and attacking the U.S. troops. That was Iran behind it. That
Oh yeah,
was
the
not,
proxies.
yeah,
Yes.
those are not theories. Those are facts. These people, they have very clearly stated for years that they hate the United States and they want to destroy it. That's a fact. And you got to give them credit that they're very unapologetic about their beliefs. They'll tell you to your face, I want to kill you guys and I want to blow up they want to blow up the United States. They want to blow up Israel. And that's just a fact. They're not playing. Now, what is the problem for them? That now history put somebody in their path called President Donald Trump.
Yep.
And they did not expect this. Now, people say, well, but they were 20 years away or 20 days away from getting a nuclear bomb. And they say, well, we shouldn't have done this now. And it's like, if you have the enemy in your face that is getting stronger by the day and you have the power to eliminate that enemy or neutralize him, are you going to wait until they get stronger than you to attack, or are you going to go ahead and attack preemptively?
Exactly. It's like I had a video I have it on my personal Facebook page, and it shows the underground missile bases. And it's not just a storage of missiles. They work on them underneath there, and there's military personnel underneath these bunkers. There's like probably 4 or 5 spread through Iran. And in this one video, about 4 minutes into the video, before they actually get into the bigger doors, there's a Star of David on the floor and a United States flag on the floor. They have walkover every time to get in there. What's that tell you, American people? That they hate American people. And just what Ray was saying, and I said too, and it's been said in their parliament, what do they have in Iran? Death to America. So quit trying to back up what we're trying to do to make this country safer, because they have killed our service members. They held 400 and what? How many members for 444 days? It's
Yeah.
all Iran. They attacked our embassy. They killed our soldiers.
Oh, do you remember during the Obama administration that they boarded this Navy ship and then made the American sailors get on their knees? Do
Yes.
you think that they would do that or would have done that under President Trump?
No.
Never.
Nope. Well,
Never.
because
It never would have happened.
one reason is because Obama, it's just like Russia going into Ukraine. When they first went into Ukraine the first time, Obama was the president, Joe Biden was the vice president.
Yeah.
We had Trump in
when they went
office.
into Crimea, Obama was president. That's right.
Yep.
And then
And
when they
Biden was the vice.
came, was Biden president.
Right.
I
And
know
when
that
Trump-
you're. Go ahead.
And when Trump was in office, they did not do that. And shortly after Biden came into office, that's when they went into Ukraine. I was on a cruise ship and playing blackjack, but the dealer was from Ukraine. This is when Ukraine was building up their forces. I mean, Russia was building up their forces. And people were asking, do you think he's going to get attacked? Do you think he's going to come into Ukraine? No. And we got off the ship, and about 3 weeks later, Russia's trying to go into Ukraine. So there, you have to blame Obama and Biden for that stuff. Biden or Obama sending 2 planes over there with cash. You think that cash just went to the people? No, that's going to the proxies. Then you look at what Hillary Clinton did when she was Secretary of State. She gave Iran, uranium.
Yeah.
So wake up, people, because all that money, all that stuff over there helped Iran try to take us out in Israel. And now that Trump has went into Iran, the surrounding Arab countries have gotten attacked. Now they're losing their support for Iran. They're coming to our support because Iran just lashed out supposedly to
Mhm.
their brothers. And now they're finding out that, Iran is a bad, bad actor.
Yes, they are. And unfortunately, when they are cornered, they're going to become more reckless and more violent. But that's going to happen. You cannot be complacent and say, well, we better stop now so that they don't do any kind of a terrorist attack. Now that we're in it, we better go ahead and, yes, if there is an off ramp that will be satisfactory and, the goal, whatever President Trump decides that will be, is done, great. But the thing is that unless there's some kind of, and I hate to say it, regime change there in Iran, we're going to be sitting watching this movie all over again. Uh,
Well,
that's
he's
and
given
that's
the
unfortunate.
he's given the people of Iran a chance to
Yes. Well,
start taking over the
let's hope they take it. Let's hope they take it, and let's
right.
hope they get the support that they need. Going back to Cuba real quickly. I know that you have to go.
I don't
When
have to, but
people talk about how, because I also had a discussion with somebody saying, well, you know what, I think Trump should focus more about the U.S. instead of these countries outside. And I'm thinking, well, he is concerned about the United States and everything he's doing, even in Venezuela, in Cuba, it is for the well-being and the national security of the United States. You'll be surprised how many people don't realize that China has facilities, Intel facilities right there, bases in Cuba. They have
yep.
like Signet, some of them former Soviet military, but they have uh, this technology there that they are spying on radio communications, telephone communications, military communication, airplanes, ships, and this Signet network that they have. It's right there in Cuba.
Well, what
It's
do you
only
think
90 miles away from Miami, from the United States, from Florida.
right. And what do you think
So
about those
that is all about national security, and that
it
again, he's
is.
pushing them out of our hemisphere.
What do you think about, if you probably remember this, it's been a few years back, we had a delegation over in Cuba, and there was some type of sound waves used on them. And people don't remember that. And from I remember right, wasn't Russia behind that, or was it Iran?
Yeah, that's during Obama that he opened up the embassy, and all of the diplomats and people that were working in the embassy, they all got uh, head injury, brain injury, because it was a sound wave that they were aiming at the embassy. Well, most likely that was done. It was the Cuba, that was Raul Castro, still was officially the person running the show. Then obviously Cuba with the technological, I guess, support, either Russia or Iran, most likely Russia.
Yep. So people see, and this is what people a lot of times I think people have short-term memory loss. They don't learn, they don't retain what's been done. And I remember that from the news. It's like, wow, because they're saying something strange was going on, and they were sick, they had headaches, and
Hmm. They
that
got
was what
brain damage.
they had got brain damage from it.
Yeah.
So again, evil actors, Russia, Iran, or whoever it was behind it, but Cuba was involved with it because of Castro.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
all we can say is Trump is trying to make this country better. He wants the security of this United States to be secure and not under threat like we have been from Iran for since what, 79? And people don't realize in the mid 70s, Trump stated Iran would need to be taken care of. And, there are issues and we would need to take care of them. That's when he wasn't even thinking about being president. Okay. And
Yeah.
people
That
don't
was in the
realize that comment,
80s or 90s. You're right. You're right.
you
Um,
know?
well,
So,
Jim, I'm going to probably have to get out of here pretty
okay,
quickly.
go ahead.
No, but I want to say, look, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for bringing attention to these things that are very important. And I think that your role is, we need more people like you. you know,
we
who
do.
take the time and put this out there and reach as many people as you can, you know, as we can. Um, if you don't mind, I would like to give a shout out to a good friend, Patrick Harlan.
Yes, very good
I
person.
hope
Now,
that
Patrick.
you know, Patrick, he's having his election. He's, you know, in the primaries. The last day, as you know, is the 17th.
Right.
So I would like, you know, whoever is listening, look him up. Patrick is a good man and a great patriot, and I hope that you vote for him. Also for Julie Bickelhop, she is running
Yep.
for Congress for the 17th district. So go out and vote for these two good people.
And just let you know, I first met Ray at a political event, and we've been to a couple others, and I think one was Dylan Vansel. I think
No,
Patrick Carlin.
it was
Was
not
it
a Dylan Vansel's event.
Okay, so it was Patrick Carlin's then?
Yeah, Patrick.
Okay, and then Julie. So him and I have been around each other. We hit it off the first time we talked about it because we think the same way. We have common sense. We want to see this country safe. We want to see this country prosper. And with what's going on, it's not prospering. It's going downhill. And if you're a true patriot, speak up. I mean, I do. I mean, I even spoken up against one candidate running for governor. And of course, I got sort of hit by their campaign people. But, you know, truth is truth. What happened, happened. And we just need to try to sway
Don't
some
be
of these people.
afraid to stand up. Be
Exactly.
proud. Look, this is, and I know I have said this 1,000 times. Guys, this is the greatest country in the world.
Right.
If we
And
do
you wait.
not protect it, if we do not fight for it, we will lose it.
Right. And Ray, we'll get ready for our next show. And you know about it coming up in a week from today. I just got to
Okay.
get a time with Charlie Kim. And his family left South Vietnam in 1979. And then with your knowledge and his knowledge, this next show will be on Iran.
Awesome.
So, everyone, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you ever have a question, you want to relay something to Ray Estrada, you have a question, get in touch with me. My email is down below at World Events, jamesfrere@gmail.com. And of course, there's my YouTube channel. There's some really good programs in there, past programs with Ray, and they're very enlightening. And this is what it's about. We're telling you the truth. We're not sugarcoating it, but wake up and don't always listen to what you hear on the mainstream news. So, Ray, any last thing?
No, just say again, thank you for having me again, Jim. I appreciate it. And go vote for Patrick Harlan and Julie Pickelhop.
Yep, I did that
And have an
yesterday.
incredible weekend. And let's keep working and praying and taking action to protect the republic.
Yep. So I'm going to close in saying, God bless Ray.
Thank you.
God bless the United States. God bless our troops, and God bless and protect Donald J. Trump. So for right now, everyone, have a good day. And in a week, it's going to be Ray Estrada and Charlie Kim on the show together. It's going to be a good duo with those two people. Again, thank you, Ray, and have a good day.
Awesome. Thank you.